Hello there. Thanks for watching or listening. We're on VIP Boxing's Bell to Bell podcast, episode 162. You're either watching on YouTube or having a download or downloaded it on iTunes or Spotify. And if you can leave us a review, great. You know John Evans in the top corner. Tonight's guest, the man, he's not a household name when it comes to A-list famous, but it's fair to say he's respected in boxing more than most, certainly by the likes of John Evans and myself. I think he's 154 not out as a boxer. Still a young man, 31 years of age, Jordan Grannum. I mean, I don't know where we should start with you, Jordan, having you on tonight. It's like we're changing the format a lot for you. It's like boxing.
I feel honoured. I feel honoured to be on there, guys.
It's quite fitting because you must have been on a VIP shows about 40 times in your career, I can think.
Yeah, I do like the VIP shows. I do like them.
Well, yeah. Well, do you want to ask the first question, John? I'll never ask you.
No, that's all. We're just chatting, aren't we? Just going on then, Jordan. Tell us some of the more unusual shows you've been on. We know like the small hall stuff, and there's lots of sports centres and the occasional like place like Liverpool Olympia. But have you ever turned up and it's been like a weird venue or an unusual setting, an unusual sort of show?
One that will come to mind would be a show that I'd done not too long ago in Weatherby, and that was like a converted pub. It was a pub actually, and that was a bit weird. The way that people were standing at the top, and that was quite weird. But other than that, it's just sports halls, and I've said the best venue I've been to was the Colin and Lopez. I was on the undercard of that. That was like 30,000. By the time I thought everyone had cleared off, but that was a big venue.
Okay, what's your worst venue? Liverpool Olympia?
Definitely not. Worst venue, I don't know if I've got one in the top of my head, but I have been to some shitholes.
Surely like a sports hall on a Sunday afternoon's the worst. That's got to be.
Do you know what? I don't even look at it like the worst, really. I'm there to just do a job. I'm so programmed into it is what it is. Me personally, I do like when there's not a lot of people. I can never choose, but I prefer it to just be quiet. I just like to just work in silence. But yeah, I can't choose. But yeah,
that's unusual.
Wherever I go,
you prefer it quiet.
Yeah, if I could choose, I would have it silent. Like sometimes when I box at York Hall and I'm like first or second on, and it's just this non-existent atmosphere. I like that. I can just, not that the crowd will like deter me from working or anything, but I would prefer it be quiet.
How did you get on in the COVID era then? Was that right up your street?
Oh
no. I'll tell you what was what was COVID like for an opponent?
It was terrible. And me, obviously everybody's different, but me, I need to have fights locked in to be able to work hard in the gym and be focused. And when there was absolutely nothing, it was just dreadful for me, to be fair. I weren't training. I was drinking. I was eating rubbish. So when I did get the call for the fight, I was nowhere in shape to even to box, but we still took it. That was the first time I ever got stopped. I boxed Aaron McKenna. I hadn't been hit for about 8 months, and then going in there and getting hit, it was such a wake-up call. Oh my gosh, it was it was just, I only lasted 2 rounds. It was probably the hardest 6 minutes I've had in my career.
Really, yeah. I mean, how much do you enjoy it, Joe? I mean, I think I know because I've spoken about this before, but I would like you to tell everyone watching or listening. When you go in a fight and suddenly you're in a real fight, I'm thinking of the guy you had in Halifax on his debut, Kitchen.
Guy Kitchen.
Kitchen on his debut. That fight, like I saw you afterwards. So I was with you that night, and you went straight to the dressing. You was ringing your wife to tell her how great it was to be involved in a fight like that.
That to this day, that's definitely top 10 fights that I've ever had in my life. Yeah. In there, it's obviously I'm so focused, but when I got out and That was amazing. Honestly, I love it. I love it. Even if it's not an exciting fight, I just love fighting. I love getting paid for something that I love. Yeah, it's not the glamorous side of it where I'm boxing in Riyadh or I'm winning belts, but I'm fighting a lot. I fight between 25 and 30 times a year. So I have to enjoy what I'm doing or it's not going to work. But yeah, when you're in a little tear up, it is. I don't want to be in them every week, but when you are in it, it's very enjoyable.
Jordan, you could have been fighting for belts, couldn't you? Know, if things had gone differently. You know, if anyone's seen Jordan fight, he's good. You know, he's talented. It's definitely a decision to be playing the role he's playing. And when you started off, did you turn over with the ambition of winning belts and getting on the home side of a bill? And what changed it for you,
What
if you did?
100% we had the idea that we was gonna be a champion, whether that be British champion, world champion, whatever. We had that idea. I had a great amateur career, so I never ever turned over with the intention of becoming a journeyman. I didn't even know what a journeyman was. Like, even I had my first two fights as a prospect, so I was selling tickets. The first one, obviously my debut, I done very well. Second one, I boxed away from home and I only sold like 40 tickets, which they said was fine. Just cover your opponent. So I brought in £1,400 from my ticket sales and I gave my opponent £1,200. So I was left with £200 as a prospect. I trained for 6 weeks solidly. I was also doing delivery work at the time. So I was flat out and I got out of the ring and I was gutted. It was nothing like the amateur buzz that I got from winning. I was actually gutted. I think it was to do with the money side. I'd only received £200. And then after that, I broke my leg in two places on a motorbike accident. And it was either stop boxing or go on the road. And I'm so glad that I had the option to go on the road. I didn't want to just get a normal 9 to 5. I've been boxing since I was 14. Like, boxing is everything to me. So I had the other option and I took that other option. And the first fight I had, I was 2-0 as a journeyman, boxed someone in Scotland, and lost on points. And that was it. I knew that I was going to do this. Like, it was like a duck to water. And as an amateur, I went 26 unbeaten. I was two-time national champion, two-time Haringey Box Cup gold medalist. And I used to say, I'd rather lose my ball bags than lose a fight. So how easy it was for me to transition into the journeyman, I'm still scratching my head like I don't understand. But it was. And I'm very happy in what I do.
Do you when you said what was it like for you at first? When you were going on the road, and then you might have been fighting a prospect somewhere in Walsall, somewhere up the M1, and suddenly, you know, you've played your role. They've got their perks when they've given you an education, and they're jumping on all four ropes celebrated. What would you?
Nah, if I'm honest with you,
that hard?
Steve, huh?
Was that hard accepting that at times?
No, do you know why? Because I knew what I was there for, and like I never had money before I started like earning money from being a journeyman. So I was just the purse and not getting stopped was my winning. And as long as I didn't get stopped and I got my purse, I would do it every day. It doesn't bother me than winning. Like, it's more detrimental me getting my hand raised now than it is taking a loss. Like, but I'm not bothered. Like, I was never bothered, which is weird, as I said, as an amateur.
I know you just said then it's detrimental to get your hand raised, but do you have any like private rules or unsaid things where if a prospect does take a liberty, is there any particular lines that if they cross, you switch and it turns into a real fight? Is there you don't have to share them if they're just in your mind, but is there anything a prospect can do that changes your mindset?
Yeah, there is. It's difficult to explain, but obviously I'm there to do a job. I'm not there to
Yeah.
be a punch bag and I'm not there to be taken the piss out of. So if I feel that someone's momentum is rising, I will step up the gear to protect myself.
Yeah.
But I'm not. No, and obviously, the better the person I box, the better I need to box. But then there are some times when the boy's really, really good, and I've got to go into journeyman mode. But I'm comfortable in journeyman mode because my defense is very tight. I don't take many shots. I feel fresher than ever. People don't understand when I say this, and I'm 154 fights deep, but I've never felt fresher than I do now. But yeah, I just don't want them to take the piss. They start waving their arms around or doing shuffles. That's gonna piss me off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will definitely do more when them situations arise.
I mean, most of your opponents respect you. You know, I see you a lot. John sees you a lot. You know, I've booked you plenty of times in the last 18 months, 2 years. Does it, you know, you said that, you know,
Definitely.
like loving the journeyman status. Does it, you know, we said at the top of the pod that, you know, you're not a household name, but respected in boxing. Does that mean a lot to you? You get respect from promoters and other people. Like I said to you on the phone the other day, people like you and Dal Arrowsmith, if you say you want to go on first, you're going on first, that sort of thing. Does that mean a lot, that respect you get from the trade?
Yeah, that it means honestly, it means so much to me because people don't. I love boxing so much that I love fighting. I'm 31. I've been doing it since I was 14. That I love it so much. So when I do get respect from the promoters and the boxers and everyone in the boxing scene that I come across, it means the world to me. Like sometimes when I walk in the venue and different people are saying hello to me, and I don't even recognize some of them, but they know me, and even down to the small people, like not the small people, but like people that are not actually fighting, doctors and security, and everyone knows me. It's a lovely feeling because I do my job well, and people acknowledge that. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Does it, when you see the TV show, I know you probably don't see TV shows because you're always out on Saturday nights, but we see very few guys like you on the TV shows, don't we, John? It's always Latvians, lots of Nicaraguans these days and things like that. Obviously, the money's better on the TV shows. Why do you think that is? Is it deals with agents and stuff? And does it sort of piss you off a little bit that guys like you and your British scene journeymen are just being denied those sort of paydays and opportunities?
Yeah, it definitely does piss me off a little bit. But the reason why they want the Latvians and all of them guys is because they're going to get a knockout, and there's a big chance that they're going to get a knockout. Whereas if they put me in there, it would be much more beneficial for their prospect to go in with me.
Just lost you there.
4 rounds, and it would be getting a first or second round knockout from a. Can you hear me now?
Yes, better, yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
on.
you're back now.
Yeah, sorry, I said, yeah, it does piss me off. It does piss me off. But I feel that they want the Latvians and the foreigners because bailout and their prospects going to get a first or second round knockout, and it's going to look better on their record. But I feel it's more beneficial if they put the prospects in with someone like me or top British journeyman, because they're going to go the distance and they're going to get an education in there, and it's going to help them more. And I mean, if you bang out a guy like me or Dale Arrowsmith or Daryl Sharp, for instance, that is massive because we don't really get taken out of there. So it's massive. But I feel that they just want pad up the records and get an easier option. I should, and I'm not even blowing my own trumpet, but I should be on the big TV shows
Yeah.
against the up and coming
Yeah,
prospects. I definitely should be.
yeah. Well, everyone you fought, Daryl, I mean, 154, which person, maybe not the best, but where you got out the ring and thought, well, I'm glad that's over tonight. How often does that happen? Or who is the one fighter where you, afterwards, you've been relieved to get out?
Yeah, there's not been many. I say out of 154, there's probably like between 10 and 15 times that I've wanted to get out. I'll name a few names. Obviously Aaron McKenna. I'd name James Moorcroft. I only had one hand in that, and he just came at me just for 6 rounds. At one point, he looked at the ref and said, "Ref, he's had enough." And I had to then look at the ref and say, no, I haven't. But I wanted to get out of there. Mario Silva fractured my rib in the first round. That was a tough 4 rounds. There's been, there's not been many, but there has been sometimes. It's not, and to be honest, I like when that happens because it brings me that down to earth and makes me realize that what I'm doing is very, very dangerous. There's times when I'll have 7 weeks on end and there'll just be like an easy night for me, like a little light spar, and then I'm sort of a bit complacent. So when I do get hurt, I do enjoy it because it brings me back down to earth and I realize that you are doing something extremely dangerous and you need to stay switched on.
You know, it's funny is mentioning times getting hurt there. Two of the memorable things, Jordan, for me. I was there when Christian Lake got stopped off Kerry Evans, and I will always remember that. I'd seen no one stopped Christian Lake, and I was there when it happened. And I saw Niall Brown. He caught you with a jab in the eye, didn't he? And your eye slammed shut. And Niall Brown got a stoppage victory over you. And they're like 2 nights that stand out in my mind because you guys don't get stopped.
Yeah, I mean, that one really does piss me off. I called Pat Barrett and I asked for the rematch like straight away because that was a freak accident. Like, that's never, ever, ever, ever happened to me in my life. And I do put it down to being in a bad car crash the week before and having some internal injuries because I never took no bad punishment off Niall. I ate a few jabs, but I can eat jabs. Like, I've had jabs all day long and the eye hasn't shut up. My cornerman, Mark Byrne, went to put the ice on it, the metal bar, and as soon as he put that on, it just shut closed. And he said he's never seen that. So that was a proper freak of an accident for me, and that was upsetting because that was on my 30th birthday. I'd crashed my car with my missus and my mate in it. Then I'd been stopped a week later. It was definitely 2 weeks to really forget.
And Steve said, is there anyone who you've wanted to get out, who's really good? Has there been anybody you've boxed, Jordan, who's gone on to do way better than you would ever have expected after sharing the ring with them?
Not so much. Well, I'd say the person that would stand out mostly to me is Hamza Shiraz,
right,
for how well he's doing now. But when I got in there, I knew he was good. To get to where he is now, like captaining Warren's team and winning spectacularly in Riyadh, I probably didn't vision that. But yeah, he's a good guy and he's a great boxer. So yeah, he would be someone that stands out for me.
Man, every week, whenever Hamza Shiraz's name comes up on this pod, which is more often than not every week, someone's a big fan of each, John. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, they always say he's a good guy as well. Every person says he's a good guy.
Every person, but what a good fighter he is. Because you're out every week, Jordan. When you get a Saturday off, would you put boxing on the telly, or is it, I'm just going to sit with the kids, sit with the missus, go out, whatever?
Firstly, I hate having a Saturday off. It will piss my whole weekend off. That is the worst thing for me, to be sitting at home on a Saturday. But I did actually go to the boxing with my missus. It must have been about 4 weeks ago. I went down to York Hall because I had a Saturday off. And I thought that I would just be able to sit down and then watch the boxing and think, yeah, I'm glad that I can rest today. But I just wanted to fight. I just wanted to be in there. I was just like, I shouldn't be sitting down on the side. I should be in there. So, but I can put the boxing on, like for instance, but I was out the night of 5v5. But I literally, as soon as I got out of that ring, I had my stuff and I was ready to go. I asked Steve to pay me up front before. Like, I wanted to get straight back and watch that. So I'm a big fan of boxing, but me first, I want to box. I don't want to be at home.
You're still only 31. A lot of fights, a lot of people think that's a lot of fights. Do you have a target in your mind of number of fights or an age or anything?
I used to have a target of fights in my head. I don't have that anymore because every fight could be my last. But I will say I am not boxing a day over 40. So hopefully I've got 9 years left.
9 years? You'll be about 400 fights in. Out of 400 fights, you're boxing 5 times a year. That's about another 180 fights. So you're going to be on 350 fights and 300. No, sorry, I'm not great at maths.
It's more than that.
30 fights a year.
It's another 270.
270 fights. So you're going to be heading towards 500 fights if you're boxing to 40.
Listen, I would, as long as I'm still enjoying it, I would happily take that. Like, it would mean so much for me to break the record, which is 300. But as I said, every fight as it comes. But yeah, I feel so fresh. I'm not in wars. I'm not getting battered regularly. I train hard. As I said, I'm living a life of sobriety now, so my mind is even so much stronger, and I'm really, really, other than being an amateur, this is the most I've ever loved boxing. And amateur, nothing will ever beat that. But I love it so much. Like, I enjoy it. I can't wait for Saturday. Like, I focus on Saturdays. I'm very fixated on Saturdays. And as soon as that one's done, it's on to the next opponent. And that can be in my mind for the week while I'm in the gym. And I just love that.
What does a week's training look like then?
Well, after the fight Saturday, there's a lot of eating. Sunday, there's a lot of eating. So Monday, it's a long, slow run to just get most of that weight off. But it'll be a lot of road work. I do between like 10 to 20 miles a week in road work. Sprints in there, bag work, shadow boxing with weights. To be honest, recently, for like the first time in many, many years, I've been getting a little bit bored in the gym. So I've been mixing it up, just doing different machines, doing a lot of different cardio. I've also called my old amateur coach, Bevis Allen, to come and do some pads with me to just keep me switched on, because I don't never get bored, but I have been feeling it a bit recently. So I just try and change up. But I train really hard.
Yeah, like a lot of journeymen, you don't spar at all. Would you be like Fons Alexander, who never spars, just train, keep similar stuff to you, and then he might spar the end of January if there's been 6 weeks off, or the end of August if he's had a week off, or 4 weeks, 5 weeks off. Do you ever spar at all?
Minimal sparring. Minimal sparring. I'll probably spar maybe like 5 times a year. It's up to me if I want to spar. Like, no one can ever call me for a paid sparring partner or anything like that. Obviously, if someone's saying, yeah, well, we want to take you out to Dubai or Riyadh or something, and that's a whole different experience. So I'd probably be inclined for that. But it's when I want to spar. So say like I don't fight for 2 weeks, I'll look for a spar to just let stuff out, But no, very, very minimal. Because I'm pretty much out every week, and I don't need to take any unnecessary punishment. Because even when I spar, I don't put a head guard on. Like, I just, so I'll limit
Jordan,
the punches.
you love it so much, and you're clearly gonna, well, you're not gonna miss it for a long while because you're gonna carry on. But we used to have Nobby Nobbs and his Journeymen stable. We've had Curtis Cagano did it. Can you see yourself like looking after these guys and building your own stable and your own little management company, looking after Journeymen when you're done?
100%. Not when I'm done. Now I've got my manager's license now. I'm looking for Journeyman now. I think I'm going to be one of the best managers in the game because I know the game, and I understand what it takes to get in there. So it's not like a money aspect. Like, I'm not going to just put one of my boys in with a lion to just get an extra couple £100. Like, it's safety first before anything. But I honestly believe I'm going to be one of the best managers out there. So yeah.
How long before you get your first fight? I know you've got a manager's license, and I've seen you've got a Grannum management on Instagram, haven't you now?
Yeah, it's going to be all under the name Grannum Promotions.
Grannum Promotions.
So yeah, we're in talks to get a first fighter. I'm not going to mention any names, but we're in talks to get a first fighter coming over. With boxing, it's very hit and miss sometimes, and people jump ships and whatnot. But fingers crossed that this does happen. When the first one comes in, I believe the floodgates will slowly open. But I think I'm gonna be really successful in having a stable, not just journeyman, prospects as well. But as I am a very good journeyman, I'll definitely be more welcome into journeyman coming in. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have a massive stable.
I was going to say, Jordan, I was guilty of it then, just straight away saying, well, you look after Journeymen, but there can't be many people better placed to match a prospect than you. You know,
Yeah,
it-
yeah. I'm
it's
matching with
impossible
me
to
if
find
he's my
someone who
weight.
can. Yeah. So if you find someone who's got a bit of talent, you'll be able to match them perfectly up to 12 fights, wouldn't you?
Easily, but probably not 12 fights with 12 journeymen, but let's just say like 6 fights. I could call 6 of that. I know all the journeymen, all the journeymen know me. So it's like I could call, yeah, I've got a boy. I'm very well connected. So yeah, they would get a great pathway through in that early stage of their career. We wouldn't be going overseas to get Latvians and people that are not going to give up, not just putting it like Latvians don't give a good fight, but we're not just going to go overseas and get foreigners that we don't know nothing about or that are just going to come and lay down. We're going to get top class British journeymen to help them learn their trade.
Yeah. So before getting a matchmaker's license, doing some matching down in London for like to Steve Goodwin, your manager and stuff.
I've never really thought of getting a matchmaker's license, but I feel that when like I manage like when I'm managing myself, which is going to be shortly because I'm just still learning off Steve at the moment. But when I'm managing myself and I'm managing other fighters, for me, matchmaking is getting calls and that's all matchmaking to me. That all excites me. So that would be enough for me, really, I think. For now, like I can't wait for to be ringing around people saying, well, I need to get on the 21st. I'm going to be way more on it than Steve. Obviously, Steve's got loads of boys and no one wants me to fight more than me. So I'm really excited to be able to call around and make matches. I'm going to be on you, Steve. Trust me.
Yeah, they go all the time. I've got so much. Yeah, I've got all this lot here tonight to do. I've got
Yeah.
15 shows there in front of me.
I need to be on at least 10 of them, Steve.
But I'll tell you what, if you weren't out on Saturday, I had a nice job for you this Friday night. I'm desperate, but 6 days was out on Saturday. I was looking at Box Rec today to check it wasn't last Friday you boxed. I knew I thought it was Saturday you boxed.
When you look at your
What weight
diary,
is that?
Jordan, what's it looking like now? What are we? We're 10th of June. How far ahead are you booked? You know, when do you know what you're doing until?
Steve's really good with the spreadsheet, so I get that every Monday in case anything new comes up. I think I'm booked up until the end of July. Not like every week, but the last fight that I know that is locked in is the end of July, and that's gonna be in Ireland.
Nice.
Oh, that'd be a nice trip, won't it?
Yeah, I've been there once before and it was amazing. And I like to the first stage of my journeyman career, because I was traveling so much, it was really, really nice. And I'd always stay over and I'd like not explore the town because I like when I'm fighting, I'm focused. So I'll stay in a hotel, but I'm still traveling to these places and I really enjoyed it. And I'd stay over through like the middle and latter stage of it. I've wanted to just come back home, go there, do my job, and come back home. And now, once again, I'm coming back to the stage where I want to stay over and I want to like take the full weekend to do what I'm doing.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I'll tell you what, we've gone on more than half hour. We're running out of time soon.
That's all right. I'm glad you got me on.
I tell you what, one more question. Who was your box? Who made you box? What boxer made you go in a boxing gym? If there was a boxer you watched that made you go in the gym.
There wasn't. It was just a friend when I was 14. He said, Jordan, come down to the boxing gym. And I just moved to Islington and it was 30 seconds away. So I didn't really know any boxers. I would have by name, Ben Eubank and that, but I was never like focused on it until I went into the boxing gym. But for what I can say for my journeyman career, my journeyman idols were Willie Warburton and Christian Lake.
Yeah, Willie Warburton
And Kevin McCauley.
Kevin McCauley as well. He got the 249 or two. He might have reached 250. Kevin McCauley, Willie Warburton. That was a proper fighter. Willie Warburton.
Willie Warburton for me was the best journeyman out there.
Yeah, Willie was good. Kevin's a character.
Kevin's a big character. Kevin's one of the hardest men ever.
Yeah.
But technically, Willie would just make you miss. Like he's incredible.
Yeah, fantastic. But you know what? I just hope these journeymen keep coming because they're the lifeblood of sport. And what I find amazing, what I've discovered since I moved out of the media, and is when you go to a show, the camaraderie with Journeyman. We'll all be sitting in a corner talking about who they got next week, where they were last week, who they might not have liked the previous week because he was cocky. Oh, I've got him next week. No, just watch out for this. It's almost like a camaraderie. Like that, for example, in that Bolton venue upstairs there, before you all going to have your little lay downs in the corner with your pillow or whatever, you all sit around the table talking about who you got coming up or what you're eating after the weigh-in and walking to KFC or whatever.
Yeah, we're a proper little group, and I love that. And it's just like I can ring anyone. I look at the boxer, I'm boxing him. Who's he boxed? All right, he's boxed Dale. Dale, what's he like? Oh, da, 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 da. And it's just, I love that. I absolutely love it. And it's so much less pressure. I've been in the home corner and you're on the phone. Mom, are you outside? Or the missus is outside and you're shitting yourself. And we're just relaxed, man. And it's nice.
Yeah, it's funny. I might remember Journeyman had a really hard fight the other week against somebody. And the guy, another Journeyman was offered the same fight 2 weeks later. And he said to me, I'm not having that. He told me how hard it was to get through 6. And it's great that you all talk together. John, have you got any more questions before we let Jordan go?
Nah, I think we went through everything there, haven't we? It's flown by that, actually. It's one of the fastest we've done.
That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed it. I can't speak for John, but I think I know what he's going to say.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Brilliant, isn't it?
Jordan, you know what?
No, I appreciate you guys, man.
Pleasure getting you on. And I dare say I'll see you somewhere in the next few weeks and we can talk about. I waited to the end to get this in. We could talk about Arsenal winning the league for you this year. Again.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that to face to face.
I tell you what, John Evans, thank you. Biggest thank you ever to Jordan Grannum, and thanks to everyone who's watching and listening. And I hope you've enjoyed the insight that Jordan has offered into life on the road. Thank you very much.
For all boxing info, news, and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.